Well, good afternoon, everybody. I want to take a minute and introduce you to my basement bar. Sorry, I've lost my voice a little bit, so I'm going to try to be as articulate and speak as loudly as I can. But the most important thing is I want to walk you through some of the details of what it took to take this from a standard unfinished basement and just really an idea in my head and turn it into this basement bar. And take a look at this. This is the whole thing from the outside. So it starts off, we have full queen bricks on the walls. We kind of did what's called a sloppy mortar look. You can sort of see in here where we did not finish up the mortar. We didn't point the mortar joints at all. We just sort of let it ooze out of the joints, give it more of an urban feel and appeal. I saw a picture of an old Irish pub, and I kind of wanted to combine the thought and the look of an Irish pub / really functional kitchen area. And I'll show you what that looks like back here. This is what the end result looked like when we got all done with it. As you'll notice, 360 degrees around, we've got all of this brick. We built up that arch on top, again, using that sloppy mortar look. This is a soffit up here in that's hidden out, framed out using tongue and groove boards. So that soffit runs the heating and ventilating pipe that goes to there. Right here's our dartboard. So that's mounted in a nice fun place. So if you want to play a game of darts, you just come over here to the dartboard and you're able to do that. Here is one of my favorite toys down here, and that's the Pac-Man Machine, the Miss Pac-Man Machine, excuse me, ma'am. There's actually 63 games on it, all from like the 1980s genre of gaming, gaming games, I guess you could say. There's Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Frogger, Galaga, Galaxian, Dig Dug, a whole host of other ones. What is it, 1942, the airplane flying game, but it's just a ton of fun to get on here. As a matter of fact, while I'm walking, I'll go ahead and turn it on. It takes a couple minutes for it to come on, so maybe have a chance to show it to you. Over here, we've got a real nice sized popcorn machine, so it sits on its own trolley, so the kids can come down, they can make some popcorn, and we can have movie night in the basement and get to hang out. Adults like it too. They were redoing our neighborhood a few years ago and changing out the signs for the street, so they were just really getting rid of these. So we collected different signs from the streets that are in and around our neighborhood, and we mounted them to some cedar boards, and this is where it stayed. One thing specifically that I'd like to point out to you are these columns. So there's 4 of these columns, and if I stand here, you can definitely see 3 of them. If I stand here, you can see all 4. So this is 1, 2, 3, and then 4 back here. But let me just kind of close up some of the detail that went into the columns. Now here, I didn't have any design other than was just in my head and a picture. I just kind of wanted it to look nice. I wanted lots of molding. I wanted it all boxed out. I wanted it to appear that this overhanging soffit was being supported by these columns, when really it's all being nailed to the ceiling. This starts off as a 2x4 shell skeleton that's wrapped in cabinet grade plywood. And from there, we just started adding moldings. It just got creative. I went to the molding center and I started looking at what moldings could I add. And so you'll see that we've got in here, this is one molding. Here is a shoe molding. This one is really interesting. It comes in 2 separate pieces. So there's one here, one in here, another one, an exterior molding on the outside. If I was really good at this, I'd be telling you the actual names of the molding, but I don't know, they just look nice, so that's what we went with. I think this is what they refer to more as like, not dental molding. You guys online, comment below on what type of molding you see in this video, and then it'll all make sense. This was really fun to make. This molding is our super straight, really rigid molding. You can look at it. This is a beefy piece of molding. To get this bend in it took forever. I soaked it in super hot water, and I had to make a couple tries at it. This one was even harder. I was going to say you might be able to see a little split out there, but it just ended up not happening. So this one was even harder to bend. So you bend it a little bit, clamp it, and then nail it into place. But I wanted it to hide this glass background. These are glass shelves supported on pins. Again, I just, wherever I possibly could, I thought, well, let's add, you know, this base molding down here, and then we'll go with, I know, fluted. I think this is called fluted molding. Correct me if I'm wrong. And these are spiral molds that you can get there's a name for that one too. It's, anyway, comment below if you know the name. So this molding here is used quite a bit throughout the area. So we've got lots of, let me show you, give you a look at what these soffits are looked at. They're just really boxed out areas that we've got up there along the top. One of the ideas was eventually we might take a real old school Lionel train set that I have from my father. We were going to open up these moldings up here and actually run a train track through here, out one side of the molding into the bar area, and then bring it back around and just have this train run around. I haven't gotten that far yet. You know, there's things that are in the works, but maybe one day for that project. So again, one of the important things for me was to have a full-size kitchen down here. It needed to be functional. We needed to be able to host parties, host birthday parties for the kids, host family parties, and make sure that we had access to all the comforts of cooking. And that included a microwave up here, full-size refrigerator with ice maker. We've got the stove that came, or the cooktop that came from the upstairs. We put in a new cooktop upstairs. This was just sold as 12 by 12 sheets of tile that I got at Home Depot and put that in here. We've got a full-size oven down below. We have a wine cabinet, a wine cooler down here. Wine, champagne, anything like that. Full-size dishwasher in here. Well, looks like the dishwasher needs emptied. Full-size sink, excuse the glasses in the sink right now. And we've got a garbage disposal in here. Here's a garbage disposal. So you might be wondering what we do with that garbage disposal, or how we installed all of this. So you need some pretty special plumbing, especially when we're below the elevation of the sanitary line. So we had to put in a sewage ejector pump. So that meant we had to saw cut the floor. That pump is about 2 rooms over underneath a set of stairs. The set of stairs, so in here we've got the ping pong table on top of the billiard table. There is a set of stairs here, and we keep a bunch of blankets and everything back here. But there's another door right back here. Behind this door, underneath the stairs, is a sewage ejector pump. So believe me, replacing that pump is no fun. So that pump goes that way to serve the bathroom. So when the toilet flushes, water automatically comes in here. And that line was in there for us at the rough point of the basement being finished. But what wasn't there are any of the kitchen lines that are over here. So what we did is we saw cut the floor from the point where the drain pipe from the sink passes down, and all of the water, of course, from the dishwasher discharges into the sink, which then discharges through the garbage disposal into the ground. So all of this below me, this has all been saw cut to handle those sanitary pipes. Again, as I mentioned, we've got 4 columns. There's the dental molding I was talking about. It's one of my favorites. Check that out. Just a fun little detail to add into this basement bar. There's another dental molding at the very top. Very top. Can you see that? So I've got dental molding around the tops of all of these. Some more crown molding up here. An old school phone on the wall. Makes it a little interesting. This is the mechanical room back here. I did make it a point to finish this door in the same style and finish that the columns are. And you can see the columns. I'll show you one of the cool details on the columns is they're sort of like a multicolor rubbed look. So after we put the black on it, and it's a special compounded color of black, we rubbed it, sanded it down in certain areas, worn it off, and then we put a little bit of gold in there. It took about 9 coats, but eventually you can sort of see it on here. It's very faint, which is what I like about it. Just very faint along here. It's not real noticeable or obvious, but it does create its own special look throughout the project. We did it again on these surfaces. You can see how these surfaces have that rubbed look, some to more degree than other areas, just to give it kind of that old world style look. I was able to get quite a bit of cabinets in here. I laid all these out on the floor and I ordered them online as unfinished cabinets. So we've got cabinets for knives, for saran wrap, tin foil. They still call it tin foil, aluminum foil, I guess I should say. All kinds of storage down here. Pots and pans. We put a Lazy Susan in the corner so the Lazy Susan can hold all of that. One cool drawer, one of my favorites. So again, down here where the brick matches up with the molding, we put some more fluted molding in here as well. And then again, we're back to the sloppy brick. I love the granite. The granite's one of my favorite. I wanted to go with something that's just like a little bit wild, a little bit exotic looking, something that was going to be pretty cool. So we've got the bar height level, which I believe is 42 inches, bar level granite, step down to counter level granite in here. Here's my favorite drawer. Take a look at this. See if you can see it from here. So if you look at this, it just looks like molding, right? Nothing fluted, nothing fancy, no handle on it. But you pull it out, and that becomes the shot glass collection. There's a few shot glasses missing, meaning that they're in the dishwasher, and we probably had a party recently. But this is part of the shot glass collection. So it gets stored here, hidden away and tucked away right next to the oven, and that's a nice, neat, safe place to keep it. So we've got mirrored backs behind the alcohol. We've got mirrored backs over here, mirrored shelves. I've got lights built into the tops of each of these recessed lights. We've got recessed lights built into the soffit space up here as well. So that we've got one circuit of recessed lights back here. And then of course we've got decorative can lights on the ceiling. So we used individual slate tiles on the floor. They probably need a little bit of a cleaning right now, but these individual slate tiles were kind of fun to put in. They're not real perfect, so they have different elevations. So again, I just wanted to get more of that look that this has been here for 100 years instead of just a few years. So that concludes an introduction into my basement bar. Let me give it to you from this angle too, as far as that arch. That arch was a real challenge to put in. We had to frame that all up and support that arch while the mortar was still setting. But once we removed it, it's an incredibly strong structure. Stepped on one of the dog's toys. Oh, the candy machine. The candy machine, which is empty because everybody eats the candy. But normally this thing does stay stocked. Just come over here, turn, get your favorite piece of candy. But we're pretty good at, as soon as it goes in there, it doesn't stay in there very long. On the side of the candy machine, it'll hold cups specific for the candy machine. If I plug it in, this whole thing will light up. And now we're back to having the Pac-Man machine that's on. So I can hit start. Let's see, we got Pac-Man, Galaga, Frogger, all the Donkey Kongs, Galaxian. Let's see, can you guys see that? Dig Dug, Space Invaders, Tank Battalion, Burger Time, Mappy. It goes on and on. There's 10 pages of this. Hustler, the pool game. This is pretty awesome. So we'll see if I'm still any good at Burger Time. That was always a fun one for me. Here we go. See, it's like one of those gaming games. Instead of playing Minecraft or Fortnite, lost it. This is how I should spend my time with the headset on and the new latest and greatest in 1980s gaming. Well, listen, everybody, I really hope you enjoyed this tour of my basement bar and kitchen, really. Basement, bar, and kitchen. It's almost like its own livable space down here, and I had a lot of fun building it. It's been many years since I built it, but I've got a few other really cool projects that I've built down here as well, and I'll show those to you next time. Thanks so much. Have a great day.